Greetings and welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm glad to have you. Before we begin, please take a moment to smash those like and subscribe buttons and help feed the algorithm before it starts demanding a maiden sacrifice. And while you're at it, hitting the like and subscribe button, that is, not demanding maiden sacrifices, take a moment to check me out over on Patreon. Some cool stuff going on over there. Become a subscriber and help feed the hungry editor as well as the algorithm. And lastly, a shout out to my Tier 4 patrons, Russ of the Frozen North, Neo5AC, and Nick. Thank you all very much. Now, on with the story. The Deathworlders, a story by Philip R. Johnson, a.k.a. Hambone, Hambone HFY, and Hambone 3110. Chapter 22, Warhorse, the Fifth Year. Part 2. Date point, 9 years, 7 months AV, London, England, Earth. Charlotte Gilroy.
Gosh, we really don't have a lot of stuff, do we?
They really didn't. Ben had sold off his course textbooks now that he no longer needed them, and between their clothes and assorted possessions, carefully packed, worked out to 2 suitcases each and a half-dozen cardboard boxes. "It's just settling in, isn't it?" Ben asked. "We're graduates."
Yeah, grown responsible adults,
Charlotte laughed nervously and raised a fist to face height with a scared smile.
Go us!
Ben blinked at her, then put down the box he'd been carrying and rubbed her arms. "Are you okay?"
I don't know where we're going or what we're doing,
Charlotte told him.
We kept forgetting to talk about it. Are we going up north? Or over to Southampton? Or...
Oh, Ben turned and dug through the box he'd just set down. "I had an idea there, actually."
You did?
"Yep," he replied. "Bear with. Here it is." He handed her the kind of slim pamphlet so beloved of tourist attractions and the enthusiastically religious. She frowned at it.
Folktha?
"Look, see?" Ben tapped the page, and his tattoos, with their usual immaculate sense of timing, chose that moment to animate the moon changing phases as it orbited the Earth. "They finished installing this big citywide gravity generator last month, which means the whole of Folktha is constantly under Earth gravity now."
I don't know. I mean, it would be nice to be close to Ava, but do we have any skills they're going to want?
"Well, I'm a civil engineering graduate and you're a midwife," Ben pointed out. "Now, they're building new structures and roads and stuff all the time out there. But more importantly, before that gravity generator was built, nobody on Folktha could have babies because of the low gravity being bad for child development." Charlotte blinked at him, then at the pamphlet.
But now it's turned on. They're going to need midwives.
"Sounds like a plan?" he asked.
It sounds like an excellent plan.
"Well, there's one more part to it."
What?
Ben was already on one knee, and Charlotte's hands flew involuntarily to her mouth. "I love you, Charlotte. Will you marry me?" The word yes needed a full 2 minutes to finally find its way out of her. Fortunately, she remembered how to nod long before that, and by the time it arrived, she was already wearing the ring he'd sold his textbooks to buy. Date point, Christmas Day, 9 years, 11 months, 3 weeks AV. Folktha, Cimbrean, the far reaches. Eva Rios.
So, here it is. Merry Christmas.
There were a couple of options here. Either Adam had gone completely nuts, or there was something special about the building that he was standing in front of and beaming about. Either way, it wasn't immediately apparent what the big surprise he'd been talking about all day might be. She examined it as a proud smile wilted slightly. It was a 4-story new building, clad in the distinctive local pale gray stone that Folktha's Architectural Planning Board had settled on to play an important role in their vision for the city's aesthetic. The whole of Folktha was going to look clean and shiny and mercifully characterful, with its organic nest of curves rather than straight, bland lines. This one was on Demeter Road, which hadn't even existed when the pair of them had left Cimbrean. Now, it was one of the town's major thoroughfares, leading in one direction toward Delaney Row and Palace Hill, and in the other towards an outlying agricultural town called Demeter, which in turn had road connections on to Big Bay and New Bristol. The ground floor was all windows and plainly unfurnished, but the sign was in place, "The Doghouse," and below that, in slightly smaller letters, "Strength, Nutrition, Fitness."
A gym?
She asked.
Yep. Titan's always wanted to have one, so I chipped in the money to buy the building alongside him. You own a building? Well, we both had that big homestead grant to draw on, and, property prices are so cheap around here right now, we figured we'd probably be able to get something else each, too, if we joined forces on this one. Adam shrugged. So, he owns the gym in the basement, and I own the rest. Holy shit, Adam! She looked up and down the street, calculating. You realize that by the time you've paid the loan off, this thing will be worth like triple what you paid for it? Yep, he beamed with that big puppy smile. It's an investment. So what's the rest? Come and see.
He led her around the side of the building to a well-lit parking area and a door with a number pad.
Code's 3386, he said, entering it.
The door buzzed and admitted them into a clean stairwell and a nice tiled floor, plus the fire exit from the gym and the door down to the basement. Ava shrugged and followed him as he bounded up the stairs to the top floor.
Penthouse suite, he announced, unlocking it with a key. Holy... Adam, this is gorgeous!
Ava stepped into it and looked around. The penthouse was a studio apartment, with the bedroom partitioned off from the open-plan kitchen and dining area by means of the bathroom. Adam must have accidentally intimidated the contractors or something, because the fittings and decor were amazing. White counters with dark wood surfaces, wood flooring, and warm indirect light throughout. It was maybe missing a few personal touches like artwork and furniture, but other than that... What was more, it had stairs leading up to the roof, which Adam rushed to unlock with a grin, beckoning her to follow.
And the view from the roof?
He said, gesturing out across it. It took Ava's breath away. She could see the palace and the still-lit fabric spike of the Thing Hall, currently pulsing through festive green, white, and red. The alien quarter, protected from harmful Deathworlders diseases, pollens, and spores by a triple-layered dome of filter force fields that glowed very faintly in the dark and dominated by the Gowan Enclave/monastery. She could see the New World Plaza, where this year's Christmas tree was a beacon of warm light, and from which music could still be heard drifting over the streets and rooftops. You can see the lake from here, too, during the day, and, good news, from what I heard, it's going to be getting a clean bill of health from the reclamation project pretty soon, Adam told her, then turned to her. What do you think? I think, wow, you've really got this right. You're going to have a tidy fortune in a few years. What are you going to do with this? Rent it out or... The 2 apartments downstairs? Yeah, Adam said. He took her hand and put something small, metallic, and jagged in it. The penthouse is yours. Ava was so surprised she almost dropped the key. Adam, you're kidding. Nope. You need somewhere to live, right? So live here. If you want to pay rent on it, I can shove it in a savings account or something, whatever. He took her hand and gently towed her downstairs again. She was so stunned that she followed him automatically. Furniture's coming day after tomorrow, he said. Sorry, I'd hoped to have it all in, but the timing... Don't apologize, Adam, are you sure? Totally sure, he told her. And, I was thinking, I'm back here now, you're back here now, and I thought we could... He brought his hand into view. It had a little black cube in it, which split down the middle. Make up for lost time? It was a beautiful ring, a delicate Mobius loop of white gold, spun back on itself so that it was almost 2 rings, joined by a blue diamond. It was exquisite, and she stared at it sadly. The moment attenuated until Adam finally inclined his head slightly and asked, in a vulnerable tone she hadn't heard since he'd asked her on the first date, Ava? She had to wind up into her question, her head moving in a slow, shaking movement before she tore her gaze off the ring, looking into his face. This was all so amazing that part of her was sorely tempted to just hold her hand out, say yes, and have done with it. But Sean had still been right. "Who am I to you, Adam?" she asked. He frowned, lowering the box unconsciously. "I don't, what do you mean?" "What am I to you?" she repeated. "What do I mean to you?" "Well, you're," he began, then seemed to trip up mid-thought. "You're my... I'm your... Your what?" He shook his head again. "No, you're... you." "I'm your me?" "No, you're you." She nodded fiercely. "And what am I?" He spread his hands helplessly. "I don't know what you want from me," he confessed. She spelled it out for him. "Do you love me?" She could see his instinctive response coming and snapped up a hand to stop him. "I know you do," she added. "But there's... Look, over the last 5 years we've barely seen each other. And that barely was mostly getting together every few months to screw as much as possible between your training sessions. Can you stand there and honestly claim to love me, really love me, if that's all we've had for so long? Do you even know who I am anymore?" She waved her hand up and down him, gesturing to everything that had changed about him since they had been 17. "I mean, do I love you or a memory of you? You've changed a lot, and so have I. If we're going to work, if we're going to be together, then we both need to know that we love each other for who we are now." His mouth closed, and very, very slowly, he looked away. Ava deflated. "Then, Adam, Corazon, I am so sorry, but this is all amazing, but no, I can't marry you. Not yet. Not until..." She trailed off, knowing that she had to leave that door opening, but not knowing what more to say. Adam pocketed the ring. He coughed. "I'll stay on the base tonight, I guess." She nodded, then stepped aside. Adam squeezed past her and out the door. This place is still yours for as long as you want it," he told her. "I'll see you around, I guess." Ava nodded. "Yeah," she croaked. "See ya." He turned away and creaked unsteadily down the stairs, so she shut the door and leaned against it. That done, she let go and slid down to the floor in tears. He looked so broken. "Gone! It's all gone. All of it gone. Bye-bye. Woo-hoo, see ya." "What happened to you? 1 minute you're defending the whole galaxy, and suddenly you find yourself sucking down Darjeeling with Marie Antoinette, her little sister." Movie night for the operators was frequently an exercise in cramming 10 men onto a single oversized 3-seat couch, custom-built to SOR requirements by Rebar and crew. It was huge, strong, and comfy, with plenty of room for even their massive frames to sit in and spread out. At least on a normal day. This movie night, on the other hand, taxed even its over-engineered limits when 10 spaceborne operators crammed onto it in a tangle of limbs, using each other as pillows, sitting on each other's laps, and thinking nothing of being so wrapped up in the puppy pile that it would once, in their younger civilian years, have made them deeply uncomfortable. Nowadays, it was fraternal and comforting. All of their training, the constant physical closeness, the team building, and the end result of all they had been through together meant they were entirely comfortable with almost too high a degree of physical intimacy. This created occasional problems. "Whose legs are those? Yo, Titan, these yours?" "How the fuck are they mine? I'm all the way over here." "Well, one of y'all assholes needs to move his feet. I gotta piss." A few of the guys wriggled their feet experimentally while a crazed astronaut ranted on the screen. "You see the hat? I am Mrs. Nesbit."
Oh, shit, sorry, bruv.
Man, get off me.
The knot untangled enough for Baseball to squeeze out from under it and to roll over the back of the couch as they collapsed back inwards as the guys found new, comfortable spots to fill the void.
But the hat looked good. Tell me the hat looked good. The apron is a bit much, but...
Man, even Toy Story isn't cheering him up.
Adam sighed.
Nah, it's helping, he promised.
Pull the other one, pal, Legsy admonished him.
Adam just snuggled into the couch a bit further and tried to watch. I just can't figure it out, he said. I was away from her all those years as well, you know. It wasn't like being away from her for that long was easy for me either.
Akiyama spoke up.
Women are high maintenance, man, he shared.
Price snorted.
Fuck off! You've got less experience with women than Warhorse does.
Akiyama took the insult with a smile.
You want to talk about getting laid, little man?
Price shrugged.
Okay, but what do you want to know?
There was a collective whoa and a round of high fives.
Nah, boys, fucking...
Legsy tried to chime in as it died down, but Adam plainly wasn't in the mood. He lifted half the guys off him at once, slithered out from under them, and stood up.
I'll be in the gym, he announced.
There was a long moment of silence after he'd gone. Nobody was paying attention to the movie anymore.
He's real tore up, ain't he? They were together for a long time, Legsy said. This shit's not helping. He doesn't need a puppy pile, he needs advice.
Then you're the one to give it, Legs, Price noted.
Go be big brother. Yeah, think you're right.
Legsy waited until the movie was done before he intruded in the gym. Adam was casually swinging a bulky jerry can around one-handed like a kettlebell, working up a good sheen of sweat.
Going kind of light, aren't you? Legsy asked.
The gravity was set at 1G, Earth standard, and if that can was full of water, then it was far below Adam's potential.
You think so? Adam said. There's a spare right there if you want to join in.
Legsy shrugged. His own fitness regime focused on speed and explosive force as a rule, but this wasn't about him right now. He picked up the can. Or at least, he tried to. It wasn't full of water, that was for damn sure. He barely rocked it when he tried to grab it, and he didn't even get it off the ground until he stood over it properly and tried it as a lift.
Fucking Christ! He dropped it again. What's in that?
Buckshot. Adam's trademark goofy grin put on a cameo reappearance. A good deal more melancholy than usual, but at least it was, finally, a break in his bad mood.
You little shit! There's no way you're swinging that around like that. Put it down. Let me...
Adam shrugged and did so. Legsy had been half right. The one he had been using was a bit lighter, but still far heavier than Legsy could have used for endurance training like that.
2/3 full, Adam revealed.
In the meanwhile, he'd picked up the big can and was now slowly and deliberately performing stiff, one-armed shoulder raises. The motion was much like a kettlebell swing, but without the use of momentum to aid the lift, making it a much more difficult exercise. Legsy watched in silent admiration as, in the space of about a minute, he went from merely sweaty to dripping. He set the can down, huffing with a satisfied expression.
I'm not heavy enough to swing the big one around without the suit. Not yet, anyways. Hell, even in the tighter and heavier mid-suit Base and I switched to, and even with the padded armor plating we wear now, and even with a full combat load, swinging it is tricky. The momentum just throws me around, man, which, hurts.
Aye, Legsy said.
Seems to drain you right quick, too. Uh-huh. Lifting really heavy makes me sweat so much I can get dehydrated in just a couple of minutes if I ain't careful. But that's only when I ain't wearing the suit, and only if I do something big like this. So without the suit, I work intervals and switch off between the two cans. You been at this since the movie? Yep, this is my 8th set.
He picked up the lighter can and started swinging again.
Slowly getting better. A few months ago, this would have practically killed me. Now it's just a good workout.
Legacy said nothing for a long moment, then made a disbelieving little noise and shook his head. Fucking Christ, mate. Just how fucking strong are you? Adam shrugged, put down the can, then burrowed around in his open locker and produced a little hand-sized notepad. When Legsy flipped it open, what he found penciled in was a list of exercises and numbers. They were all crossed off. What's this? World records, Adam shrugged again. It's the crude, man. Thanks to that shit, I'm probably the strongest person in the galaxy. Yeah, maybe. Probably. I met that Saunders bloke we learned about Crozier from in the first place. He looked about as big as you, but taller, longer bones, less mechanical advantage, Legsy mused, then handed back the notepad. And he didn't train like you neither, he added. Is this wise? Probably not, Adam conceded. But how long have we got until the resistance kicks in? I guess if Ava thinks I gave up on her for this, and maybe she's right. Maybe I did. He trailed off, then reset. I guess if she thinks that maybe that's all I have right now, is getting the best out of this stuff before I start to become immune. Fuck me, you're a stupid twat sometimes, pal. Legsy shook his head. Adam frowned at him. It hadn't been the typical laddish insult between brothers in arms, but sounded like a genuine appraisal of his intelligence. What? If she thinks you gave up on her, then that means she wants you to start working on her again, doesn't it? Does it? Legsy sighed and laughed, shaking his head. Sit down, Adam, he said. Let me tell you the ways of the women folk. Adam frowned at him, but obeyed, perching atop the same can he'd just been training with. Legsy sat opposite him. What exactly did she say to you? He asked. She asked me, what am I to you? What is she to me, you know? Right? Then she said, she told me to tell her honestly that I still love her after all those years going away and that kind of thing. Well, that wasn't exactly fair of her, Legsy opined. But all right. What do you mean? Well, okay, gut response here. One word. First one that springs to your mind, Legsy suggested. Do you love her? Yes. Good, right. But here's the next question. What is love? And none of that baby don't hurt me crap. Huh? Maybe that's a bit before your time, Legsy allowed. But go on, try and answer it. Well, it's... Adam thought about it. Love, it's an emotion, right? Half right. You can feel love, and you can love, right? You can do love, not just feel it. A verb, Adam nodded. Fucking right. You've got love, Legsy clicked his fingers as he searched the memory. What's it? The noun. Yeah. So, yeah. You love her, but you don't love her, see? Noun love versus verb love. You're saying she needs both, Adam asked. Secret one about women, mate. A lot of the time the verb counts for more with them than the noun, like. And secret one about blokes, by and large, we're the other way around. Come on, Adam protested. They're more complicated than that. She's more complicated than that. Legsy shrugged. How do you know that somebody loves you? He asked. Adam scratched above his ear. Well, I guess you... Legsy just raised an eyebrow at him, waiting. Adam deflated. I guess because they show it. They do stuff for you. Fucking right. And any woman, complicated or not, needs to know that you love her. Needs to have it shown. Because blokes, you know, we're the stupidest buggers. We feel it, and we'll just go ahead and fucking assume that they feel the same way and carry on. Women, though, they think about love a lot. A lot of the time, they love you so much they worry that they're loving you more than you love them, see? They don't just assume it. Ava's not insecure, though. It's not insecure, mate. It's... Legsy's gaze flickered about the room as he spread his hands, marshalling his words.
They don't want to get ripped off, right? That's actually smarter than how we do. They want to know they're getting a good return on their emotional investment, Adam translated. Right, you've got it.
Adam sighed.
Yeah, I got it. So?
Adam frowned.
So what?
Legsy looked down and rubbed his forehead.
How fucking dense are you? He asked. I've just told you what she wants is to be shown that you love her. But she broke it off, Adam exclaimed. And she's right. We hardly know each other anymore. It's not going to be as simple as flowers and chocolate. So start over, Legsy suggested. Get to know her again. Let her get to know you again. Go on a new first date. If that relationship's over, then start a new one with her. You think we can do that? Adam, pal, I reckon that's what she wants more than anything, Legsy told him gravely.
He let Adam sit and think until the younger man finally nodded.
I'll give it a few days. I need to work up my courage and figure out what I'm going to say. Good idea. But if we get to Saturday and you've still not done it, I'm dragging you down there myself. Fair? Fair.
Legsy stood up.
I'll let you get on and think then, he said. Thanks, Legsy.
Legsy just clapped a hand on his shoulder and left him alone.
Ava!
Jessa's expression fell on seeing her former student's downcast expression and smudged makeup.
Oh, honey, what's wrong? Or is this one for Gabe?
This is, Ava sighed, entering their apartment.
I don't know,
she said simply and shrugged.
Adam proposed.
He did? Gabe asked, emerging from the kitchen.
Yeah, didn't he tell you?
Madre de Dios, mi hijo es un idiota a veces.
Gabe sighed.
No, are you okay?
Just drained.
Ava sat down at the table.
I tried to leave the door open, but I don't think he really knows why I said no, or if he really got that I really do want to marry him.
Her hair bunched up as she planted her elbows on the table and raked her fingers across her scalp, then threw her hands down on the table.
5 years, you know?
Sounds like you both need some advice, Gabe noted.
What's to advise? We both need to start over. But if it's going to work, he needs to... God, this sounds so selfish, but he needs to focus on me a bit, right? Is that selfish? No, that's a marriage, Jess replied. It feels selfish.
What?
Can you promise me that this will never, ever get back to him? Ever?
Jess and Gabe exchanged glances, but nodded.
Ava
took a cleansing breath and looked up at them.
I cheated on him.
Gabe sat down, expression unreadable and creating a vacuum that she just had to fill.
God.
Ava sat back and looked around the kitchen as she gathered her thoughts.
That sounds terrible.
She wiped her eyes.
I came this close to breaking up with him, she said finally. The only reason I didn't is because this friend of mine, he helped me stay on top of it. He helped me feel...
She cleared her throat, leaned forward, and made eye contact again.
The one thing Adam told me time and again is that I'm what kept him going when things got tough, right? But he wasn't keeping me going, you know? All of that energy, all of that love, it was only going one way. And I guess I ran out. And I needed somebody else to send some of that energy to me for a while. That's half of it.
An uncomfortable half-minute ticked on the wall clock, during which Jess surreptitiously blew her nose.
And the other half?
Gabriel prompted. Ava spoke to her own hands rather than look at him.
He's a special operator now, you know. I have to get used to the idea that maybe one day he'll go on a mission and only a flag will come back. That's how it has to be, you know. And what happens then? If my feelings are so tied up to him and that ever happens, I mean, I'm not me first. If I'm all about him and he dies, then what does that leave me with?
Behind Gabe's back, Jess nodded. Gabe himself was just still, and a little old and damaged and attentive, leaving an intolerable void where his part of the conversation should have been.
This is all coming out wrong. I'm making it sound like Dad, I'm sorry.
Gabe just reached out over the table and took her hand.
Don't, he said gently. Do you regret it?
No.
The answer seemed to be the opposite of what Gabriel had wanted and expected to hear.
You don't?
I learned a lot about how to let go and how to...
She took a breath and started over.
I love Adam. Come on, how many guys are there in the world who go through all he has so he can throw himself in harm's way to protect other people? He's my hero. And if there's such a thing as a soulmate, he's mine. I know it. But I had to learn that I can't afford to love him that much if I couldn't live without him. Does that make sense?
Gabe's ability to just listen kept pulling her forward.
And now I know I could, and knowing that I could keep going even if he died tomorrow. It kind of frees me to be able to love him as much as I want to. Please, does that make any sense?
Gabe finally looked down and squeezed her hand gently.
I guess it does, he said finally. I don't like to think about him getting...
He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence.
I never thought about Mama and Papa or my school friends or whatever, Ava replied. I didn't like to think about death at all, but you have to, Dad. You have to think about death. They died. When I accidentally poisoned myself that one time, I thought I was going to die. I saw you nearly die when that guy shot you. Sarah, and now Adam's a soldier.
Jess shut her eyes and looked away, but Ava surged on.
You've got to think about it, and you've got to have a plan, because there's no if involved. There's when, isn't there? And I had to know I was strong enough to keep going without him. I had to know he wasn't everything. I don't think I dare love him if he was everything.
There was an eternity where the only sound was the buzz of lighting and the fridge freezer before Gabe finally deflated.
Entiendo, he muttered.
I'm sorry, Dad.
I thought you said you don't regret it, Gabe asked.
Ava stumbled.
Well, no, I don't,
she agreed.
Then don't apologize. It's not...
He sighed, then looked back at Jess, who gave him a weak smile and took his hand over his shoulder.
It's not something I'd have done, and I don't know if I think it's ever justified, but we trust you, Ava. If you think you needed to do it, I wasn't there. I can't judge.
Ava produced a weak smile of her own.
Thank you.
Her voice was full of relief and true gratitude.
You need to work on your communication, though, Gabe continued. There's no way he'll figure it out himself. You should have spelled out the problem rather than just turning him down.
Jess nodded.
Adam's a remarkable man, she said, addressing Ava. But you're the only girlfriend he's ever had. He won't know how to figure out what you're feeling, nor how to cope. I can't tell him what I did. It'd totally break him, Ava protested.
Jess is right, though, Gabe told her. If he ever learns what you did, he still needs to be told that it's got to be a real relationship. Not just two survivors putting each other on a pedestal and not really having a whole lot in common.
Ava relaxed.
I knew you'd think of how to phrase it, she said. Well, you'll probably think of something better if you give it time to think, Jess replied. But just make sure you tell him sooner rather than later, okay? He's going to need to be told you want to start over.
And tell him to come talk to us, Gabe added.
I can do that, Ava promised. I'll talk to him when I know what to say. Probably sensible, Jess agreed. Like you said, you never know what's going to happen.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am the Casual Deathworlder, your host, and this has been the conclusion of Chapter 22, The Fifth Year. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you did, please go ahead and smash those like and subscribe buttons and maybe drop us a comment down below. It's a much better way of feeding the algorithm than maiden sacrifices. Now, as always, a huge shout out to my editor Gregor. Thank you very much, buddy. I could never do this without you. And before I go any further, here's another shout out to the Tuxedney Bay crew. You know who you are. Have a good summer, guys. And be safe. Okay, one final subchapter to go in chapter 22. That would be Operation Nova Hound. And that's actually a fairly large part. I believe that one's going to be like between 4 and 6 episodes. So, yeah. But it is actually one of my absolute favorite chapters in the entire book, because one of my favorite characters rejoins the story in a very big way. Or sorry, not rejoins the story, essentially joins the story. He's been here and there a time or two, but he officially joins the story in a very big way. I think you know who I'm talking about. Okay, now then. Question, who's got the question? Apparently I don't. I did, but I completely forgot it. Shit. Oh yes, musical instruments. Who here plays a musical instrument? And what do you play? Leave your answers in the comments down below. Until next time, be safe, be well. I love you all. Bye-bye. Beckoning.